Hey everyone, Tactics here, and in this video I'll be going over another one of my high key VODs, this time for Mists of Tir Nasyth plus 20. As with my previous review videos of my Necrotic Wake plus 20, I'll be going over our run and critiquing my own play as a Guardian Druid, and also giving you guys some tricks that we use at higher key levels, such as a way for Druids to still pull through that first window in the maze after the fix. With that said, if you enjoyed this video, please remember to like and subscribe to support the channel, and let's just get right into it. Also note that we are at 1.25 times speed just for brevity. So for this first pull, we actually dropped this ring down there. Again, look at it's insta-stunning these spike claws. Very neat little trick you can do. Ursul's also works, though this week is Sanguine week, so I'm not actually taking Ursul's Vortex. So any kind of AoE mob control like that does work for these spike claws and prevent them from actually getting that scary bleed on people. Now we do blow lust here. It's not the best bloodlust just because, I mean, it's only a 4 mob pack. There is the one big turn in villager, but honestly we just want to try and get lust on cooldown so that we have a decent second and third lust. I see a lot of people lusting on, what am I doing with Ironfurs? Nothing, it seems. Ironfur. Okay. I trolled Ironfurs a little bit there. I didn't really need them, but I probably should have used them anyways because I was just sitting rage capped forever. But yeah, so a lot of people do lust on the first boss. I think that's a mistake on Fortified Weeks, because unless you're able to use that lust to one phase the boss, you're not really gaining much time, and it definitely screws up your lust timings for the rest of the dungeon. So like, as you'll see here when we actually get to that boss, there's no way we would have one phased it even with Bloodlust, and so I think it's a bit of a mistake to save lust for that. We Shroud past here. Mind Soothe works as well. Shroud's just faster, you don't have to worry about setup. We double Mind Soothe these guys because we can now open this gate and get the buff before this pack, and that's definitely worthwhile because the buff will still be up for the boss, I think. It will definitely will be, and the trash after the boss in the maze is really not as scary as this pack here. Go into this pack, we have, I think, all of our cooldowns up. We pop them all here because this is like one of the scarier packs. Gotta make sure we get a lot of kicks, and yeah, those soul cleavers, I probably should have stunned it a little quicker there because you got several seconds hitting me with that buff. That buff basically just heals them up a bunch, so you do want to try and save stuns on this pack for those soul cleavers later into the pack. And here I think I start kiting just because we don't have any more stops like that, so I just don't let them hit me so they don't heal. Move on to the big guys. These guys get very scary at higher fortified. Their range on their big AoE at 50% is a bit finicky. You'll see we kind of dodge it sometimes here, the range guys. That's why they're standing all the way out there, because I believe it's like 60 yards you need to actually get to avoid the damage. So depending on your comp, it may or may not be worthwhile to avoid this AoE damage. You'll see here, like, our priest is out of range. He's dodging it. Depends on your comp, really. Because our melee, we can survive without heals for, like, pretty much the whole thrash duration. We're fairly tanky in that regard, so it's on a big deal if our healer is out of range, so it saves him some damage. Just finishing off these guys, and then we move right into the Pride, and yeah, plus 20 Prides are very scary. Definitely want to make sure once you start getting to higher keys, you need to commit CDs to the Prides. And I believe here we're committing Combust. I don't know if we commit Adrenaline Rush as well. I think we do. Yeah. Okay, we commit Warrior CDs and Combust here. And we're able to kill this Pride fairly quickly. Oh, we do commit Adrenaline Rush as well, because it's also a very, very low CD. able to take this in the boss and have it up again for the actual burn phase. And we're on to the first boss, which is, as I said, like basically, if you can't burst this guy in one phase, so if you don't have a fire mage and a boomkin, or 2 boomkins, or 2 fire mages, there's really no point in wasting Bloodlust in that phase. At that point, like if you have 2 boomkins, there's also probably no point in wasting Bloodlust in this phase because they don't really benefit a ton from the Bloodlust in their Convoke. Here, we make sure to wait for the fear to go off. We've pushed sometimes during that fear cast, and that's like a 50-50 if that fear goes off or not, and you don't want to do that because then you're wasting your burst window. So you really either want to, if you're getting close to that fear window, you want to probably just hold off a little bit, let that fear go off, then go. Or just skip the fear entirely by DPSing the tree down fast enough that it doesn't matter. If you have a shaman, it's less of a big deal because shamans have a tremor totem they can drop there and just stops everyone's fear. But if you're lacking it like we are, then you either have to push faster or just wait until it casts. Yeah, this boss is fairly straightforward. Heading around the room, we do 2 phases, I believe, or we get him down to like 10%, and then we kill him afterwards, I believe. Yeah, we get him down fairly low here before the damage reduction goes back up, and then we just focus him and kill him. Okay, but now we get to the interesting druid shenanigans. So, I go boomkin form. Alright, there's a spot right here. You jump, disengage flap, and you can moonfire this front defender. Let's one more time. Okay, this does require you to have wild charge. It does require you to have balance affinity. Not just balance druids can do this then. So Resto druids can do this. I'm a guardian druid. I'm doing it. Obviously, boomkins can do it too. As soon as they, assuming they take a wild charge, and then feral druids as well. So it's near the top of this hill, and you want to line up slightly diagonally. And then I just jump, disengage, flap, and tag with Moonfire. Now, I almost die here because my normal key binding for bear form was not set in boomkin form, so I had to flail around a little bit until I found it. But yeah, aside from that, that's how you do the skip, or not the skip, the extra little pull still after they close the window. So neat little trick there. Druids can do it. I think it's also possible if you have a priest in your group, anyone that has a little burst of movement like that disengage there. So I think probably like if you have a hunter and a mage, or a hunter and a priest with slow fall / levitate, you can probably do it as well. It might just be a little bit trickier. I haven't personally tested that one, but yeah, the druid one works quite well. It's actually fairly consistent once you find the spot. You can just spam Moonfire, and as long as you hit like this part of the wall, there's a pretty high chance you hit it. Yeah, unfortunately Incarn was not up for the beginning of this poll. It came up like more than halfway through it, which is a little unfortunate. I would like to have it. That's probably an Incarn timing thing. I probably need to pop it either a little earlier or just don't pop it at all before the boss. A little sketchy, but yeah, I would have really liked to have Incarn up for that pull in particular. Makes it a whole lot scarier if we don't have it, as you saw. Yeah, definitely can really improve my iron for uptime. There's whole periods where I sit, especially in Incarn. I know that's definitely one of my problems in Incarn. I sit at high rage a lot. I definitely shouldn't. And it's not even like I'm in danger at these times, so it's not the biggest deal, but like realistically I should be. I mean, there's no reason to sit at rage cap, right? Moving through the maze as normal. I think we actually get a terrible maze, actually. I think we have like probably the worst maze possible. And so it was really good that we got those first the guys through the window, because if we did not get that, I think we kind of would have been screwed. We would have been in big trouble because we end very, very low in percent. We end up dodging the frog room here, which is actually bad because you can still pull the frog, the second frog, through the wall. If you get to the frog room, that's actually an insane amount of percent if you double pull frogs. Really, really good. Yeah, this pride gets a little sketchy just because we pushed a little bit early. We didn't quite get the ads down together. So we have a couple of these guys. Namely, the Guardian is very, very scary with the pride, with thanks to his big knockback. But we're able to clean it up, not die. Again, we committed, I think, all of our CDs to this pride. And so that's definitely the reason we lived. We committed literally everything. Note Lust is here. You do want to rip Lust fairly quickly when it comes back up again. This is a super easy pack, so we don't pop it here. But I believe we pop it on the next pack. It's a 5-pack. Normally, we would actually do a different Lust in this maze if we go to the right or further to the left. We unfortunately, as I mentioned, had a terrible maze, and we actually end up getting the pack that is possible to pull through the wall in the boss's room as our last pack. I'll explain that as we get to it, but basically that's our normal lust point, is we lust before the second boss on that extra trash pack, and that normally spawns a pride as well. But we get a Night Blossom as well. Yeah, we debated lusting here, but I think it was definitely good that we saved it for the next pack, because the next pack was very, very bad. It was the very scary pack for a double melee comp in general. Yeah, we do have a Death Eater to the poison, but no one else is really in danger, so we just do a run back. And yeah, we end up lusting here on these guys. And this does, of course, trigger our pride, so we hold that lust till a little bit lower in the pack so we can commit CDs to the pack. And then we'll lust to finish the pack into the pride. There's definitely an argument to be made to lust at the beginning of this pack if you just want to murder it. But I think we definitely want to make sure that we have stuff up to deal with this pride. Because you see, we're committing all of our CDs to this, which means that we're going to have nothing for the pride when it inevitably spawns. And so having that lust there, so we lust late here, you see? And that gives us at least 30 seconds-ish of lust on the pride itself. Which definitely makes this pride go a lot easier. Now, I think we actually might also get Adrenaline Rush during this pack as well. It's an insanely short CD if he gets a little lucky. Very, very good. Yeah, we'll kill this pride fairly safely, and then I'll actually show you what you can normally do, because you can normally actually pull this pack through the wall in the boss room. So I'll show you that. And that's kind of why we're screwed with the 63%. So if you go over here, you can actually pull the pack through the wall. So assuming you just don't exit through this specific doorway, if you exit through any other doorway, you can get extra percent right before the boss. And that's the pack we lost on as well. In a similar fashion, if it spawns a pride, we lust late. If it doesn't spawn a pride, we'll just lust on it. But that is very unfortunate. So we don't get that extra percent there. So we're stuck very, very low percent, 63.5%. And that's with getting the first pack through the wall. So we would have been sub 60% on this maze, which is horrendous. That is terrible. So very good thing we got that initial pack. Very, very unlucky with the maze. There's not really too much to talk about on this boss. Really nothing crazy from a tank perspective, and even from a killing it perspective. You just gotta make sure you're finding those clones quickly, the correct clone, and just nuking them. I think we pop CDs on a lot of the clones, just to make sure they die fast. But yeah, there's really not too much to this boss fight. a bit of a long one, even on Fortified. This is almost a 3-minute fight. So if we had better percent, we would probably do the levitate skip here, where you just mount up, you get levitated or slow falled, and you just jump. And you can skip this 3-pack. We would have done that if we didn't have absolutely no percent. So we definitely wanted to kill this, because now at least it lines up where at 63.5, you only need 1 pull after the boss to get your percent up to cap. If you pull these 3, if we were higher, we wouldn't need to pull these 3, because I mean, it's kind of a waste in this area to pull 3 things, and you don't want to pull them into the next pack, because the next pack is very, very scary with the flyers. As you'll see, I think we probably have a death on the next pack. Yeah, we're moving into the next pack though. You see Incarn again. It's just a little mistimed there, Incarn. So I either need to pop it like 15 seconds earlier, or hold it a little bit, because you definitely want to have Incarn for a pull like this. This is a very, very scary pull. We missed the resistance there, but we just spell it off. And I get Incarn late. Yeah, those Reavers, they just absolutely murder people. Very, very important to one, try and dodge them if you can with any of those AoE CCs when they try and jump out, but also dispelling that poison as much as possible is very, very good, because that poison, 1, will stack, which is scary, but 2, even without it stacking, it hits fairly hard, so definitely scary. Now from here, we do some rogue shenanigans after the next pack and pride, so we'll get this pride, and we see we're not going to really get lust for the beginning of the boss fight. So instead, we just opt to take this pride straight into the boss, that we can skip the 100% pride. It's definitely pretty much always worth skipping prides as soon as you get up to like this key level. It's unfortunate, but it's definitely worthwhile. So anytime you can skip any pride, you are saving time. So specifically, we try and skip the 100% pride as much as possible in a lot of our dungeons, which you'll see. Just because that's like the easiest pride to skip in most cases, especially after the Invispot stuff that Blizzard did. But yeah, we're going to take this pride into the boss, and we'll just do the boss at like 8% or 84%, whatever we're at yet. Yeah, but again, we're committing CDs. Again, combust once more. Like, we're pretty much always committing combust and then some to these prides, just because they are so scary at plus 20s. You definitely almost never want them to get a bunch of ticks at max, and we're killing them before they even get to max for the most part. So let's just see here, we're like at 16, 17-ish kill, and we're mounting up, and we're shrouding all the way to the boss. Waking very scary during Shroud though. And this boss is also rough. Like, ideally, yeah, I think ideally we would have the pride a little. I guess if we have more percent, we're skipping that front pack. We would have pride in about the same spot no matter what. So it's not terrible. So normally you would be priding this without lust anyways. I think we do end up getting a late lust on this boss because it's so long. Yeah, even on fortified weeks, these boss fights start to get very, very long. Tank perspective, again, there's not much to talk about. We do the normal thing that I mentioned in all of my miss videos, where we let consumption just cast. We just heal through it. Because during that consumption time, the boss is not doing anything else, right? It's not shooting the purple green puddles, not spawning ads, not doing the mind link, not trying to cast infester, right? He's not doing anything. So very, very good to just let him sit in the consumption and do whatever he wants while that's going off, and you guys just get some free damage on the boss. This is really, like, even on high fortified, this is not terribly scary, assuming you dodge the swirlies. We get down a little bit, but then after that, if you just dodge the AoEs, you're not taking any damage, right? Because there's not much happening. We do get the lust late there. Definitely worth this lust, by the way. Like, this boss is much scarier than the trash. And we're running very, very close to the timer here, so I think we have to do a little bit of a dangerous pull next. Well, that's okay. Fortunate on the incarn time again. It's just like 30 seconds off each time, which is a little bit unfortunate. Yeah, so we go up and we double pull this. Again, this would have been way safer with incarn. So the play might have been to pull the other side first and then pull this with incarn up. But yeah, like, I am in danger this whole pull, and then threat is going to be a big issue here. Just because I haven't gotten to hit this pack very much. Yeah, I think, yeah, the warrior dies a threat. Yeah, because during the grouping, and then I'm target capped with swipe once we actually group all that together, because the bunch of baby ads that just die instantly just eat a bunch of swipes, as opposed to the big guys, which is a little unfortunate. Bad acid overlap there. Yeah, this is a super, super dangerous insta pull without incarn, and I just, at this point, I just opt to hold incarn because there's not much to gain from having incarn other than not having to kite the back end of this pack, which is not a huge deal. And then we just move into the last pack here, and we blow it up, and we're able to actually time the dungeon. Even with an absolutely terrible maze like we had there. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this video, guys. If you found it useful, make sure to like and subscribe. It really does help. I'll definitely be posting more of these videos over the next couple weeks, so keep an eye out for those. Also, if you want to check it out live, I do stream myself pushing high keys on my Twitch, as well as Mythic Castle Nathri from Guardian Druid POV, and that's at Tactics. That's all for me, though. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.